Hey guys, okay, so I just wanted to take a minute to talk about something that has really been bothering me lately, and it's regarding both the new wave of reporting on South Africa and also just how the kind of journalism cycle works in general. And I use that word journalism very loosely, but let me start with quickly explaining what that cycle is, because for people who are in the media world, it's just kind of an unspoken reality, but I'm not sure if people outside of it recognize it. So, first things first, I'd say you'll have a controversial issue come up. Let's go back to maybe the Michael Brown shooting. And initially, if you came out with some of the opinions that are out in the internet sphere today, you would have your life destroyed. So you'll maybe have one or two or a few people come out and write a piece saying maybe Michael Brown wasn't as innocent as we initially thought. Maybe Darren Wilson wasn't just out shooting black people for kicks and giggles. And those few people who would come out, they would be lambasted. They would probably lose their job, who knows, but they were the first person to kind of come out and push the Overton window. And they would get absolutely slaughtered by the mainstream. I've had friends who this has happened to. And the reason is the mainstream wants to make an example of them, to make sure that no one else will come out with that same opinion publicly, because it, quite frankly, embarrasses the popular narrative. And a lot of people do shut up, and they don't come out with that controversial opinion. But luckily, with alternative media, you've started seeing YouTubers, medium bloggers, all sorts of people coming out and talking about these untouchable ideas. And once that kind of happens and that process starts, maybe a little later you'll have someone, a smaller right-wing outlet like the Daily Wire, pick it up. And once that kind of checkmark verified account picks it up, it starts to take off. Someone like Tommy Lauren or Charlie Kirk, they'll start popularizing these ideas, and from there, maybe you'll see it even on Fox News or mainstream media. But it kind of has to go through this natural process of steps, of a few people having their lives ruined, some people popularizing it, and then it gets on the mainstream. And this is not a short process. It's probably about an 8-month progression of ensuring that something has acceptability among the public before reporting on it. And I'm not shitting on Fox News or any of these figures for doing this. In fact, I completely understand why they do it. There's a reason that a lot of these people got to the level of success, officialness, and popularity that they are at, because they play it safe. They don't bomb their careers by bringing up an issue or opinion that is both unpopular among conservatives and liberals or is too extreme. It's this mentality of it's better to be right too late than to be wrong too early. And like I said, I understand why people do it, and in a lot of cases, I really don't mind. In fact, I think these people help a lot in popularizing these ideas. And when there's time, like criticizing feminism, Black Lives Matter, criticizing modern art, wait for it to be popular or cool publicly. I don't care. Take your time. But what does upset me is when people do this in situations where there isn't time. And South Africa is one of those situations. It was ignored for far too long by the mainstream right-wing conservative Inc. because people didn't want to be the first to bring it up. They didn't want to seem like the crazy pro-white conspiracy theorist first. And I'm not going to be addressing the left-wing media in this video because I don't expect anything from them. I don't expect them to talk about this issue. I don't expect them to feel bad for white South Africans. They're a total write-off. But I do expect a lot more from conservative media. And they have been very silent on South Africa up until every count has been proven, up until the very last moment. That is, of course, I mean, you had the online sphere talking about it, Molyneux, Black Pigeon Speaks, but I'm addressing kind of the mainstream conservative right now. And the reason they do this is because they are so damn careful. They are too careful, in my opinion. They are careful to a point where it is detrimental to them and to the public who are not having dire information given to them. If there's even a chance that an anti-immigration law or an anti-minority law is going to be passed somewhere in the world, you will see every single major left-wing paper publishing 10 different pieces reprimanding it. In South Africa, you can have leaders of major parties dancing on a stage, singing for the death of the Boer people, and there's silence. Where's our Now This or Mike videos trending on Facebook about that? We don't have them, because conservative media won't touch it. The only reporting I have seen in the mainstream on South Africa recently is because Parliament passed the land expropriation without compensation action. Think about that. We waited until it actually happened before we spoke about it. And you even have outlets like the Daily Wire, who, good on them for talking about it at all. There are some who have just said nothing. But in their tweets about the issue, they're putting, shocking! We can't believe this is happening. Really? Is it shocking? Because the South African government have been saying they're going to do this for years. Just, I guess it's shocking if you never reported on it or you never read about it, which plenty of people didn't because conservative mainstream media wouldn't talk about it. When I do interviews about South Africa with conservative media, they always ask me if my documentary on farmlands is some sort of alt-right white nationalist documentary I'm doing. No, it's just something that is literally factually happening. You can look at the facts yourself. I don't care. Don't listen to me. Go read the statistics on it. Go look at what the government is saying. We can't be tiptoeing ever so carefully when talking about this, that we end up at the point that every single count is proven before we get up in arms, because by then it will be too late. It's great and all to be the expert after the fact, writing a comparative political essay on issues like the Rwandan genocide. That's important. But the reason it's important isn't because you're now getting all the facts perfect after the incident has occurred. It's important because we're trying to understand how to get ahead of issues like this in the future and prevent mass graves from being dug again. When it comes to the issue of an ethnic group being displaced, put down by their government, and even having their lives threatened, having policies coming out drastically discriminating against them, that is the one issue you can't do this whole it's better to be right too late than wrong too early thing. Well, I can't be sure if genocide or civil war is going to happen in South Africa. I don't know. What I can be sure about is that we sure as hell better not be afraid to talk about the possibility, because that's the only way we are going to get ahead of these mass crises that we face. If we wait up until the Parliament makes their decision again before talking, the decision may be a lot darker than just land confiscation, and no one wants to see that. But anyways, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Obviously, I think this new mass reporting on South Africa is a fantastic thing, even if it is a bit delayed in my opinion. I mean, seeing Tucker Carlson talk about it, thank you so much to The Blaze, Crowder, Daily Wire for inviting me on to talk about this issue. I just think it's so great that there's more conversation going on. I just really hope that this conversation doesn't halt until the next big shock occurs in the nation. So I guess just thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.